What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Grayson here from Straw Hat Speculator. Today, we're going to talk about OP-14. I've had a ton of people ask me about this set, my thoughts on it, and considering that it's coming out, I believe, later this week, I figured it was time to make a video. I'm sure most of you guys already know which cards are going to be inside of here. If you don't, Mihawk manga, that's going to be the top chase. The gold and silver buggies. The buggy, the gold one, actually might be more expensive than the Mihawk, but yeah, those will be fairly expensive, up there, probably over $1,000 out the gate. I wouldn't be surprised. Boa and Zoro SPs. We'll get deeper into these later on the video. Couple more Boa and interesting SP cards. So yeah, I mean, it's a fairly solid set in my opinion. I still think that it's a fairly mid set, all things considered. I know some people say it's probably B tier, maybe even like B plus tier, and I think that's fine. But really, when you look at how many S tier and high A tier sets there are in One Piece, it kind of just slots right into the middle somewhere. Like maybe it's in the top third or like right on the cusp of being in the top third when it comes to sets. So I don't think it's a slam dunk home run. And that's why if you're buying this, you get a decent price on it. I think that's fine. But if you're going out of your way to pay like, I don't even know what the pre-order is right now on TCG Player, $278. Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be a decent price to pay for it. But who knows? Like, depending on where things go over the next few months, this may end up being a decent price for it. So, getting into some of the cards, right? Mihawk manga. What I think about this card, it's not terrible. It's not the best manga in the world for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if this is $1,000, 1,100, maybe a little bit less than that. I think the Bonnie from OP-12 is probably 850 still in that range. I actually haven't checked in a while. I don't think it's going to be a $2,000 plus manga ungraded. I just don't see that happening. So already it can't be S tier in my opinion. You just don't have that crazy top hit. The buggies, I think these are going to be probably the most talked about cards, at least initially. The gold, we've already seen a couple sales on for, I believe, like 2,300 and 2,900 on eBay. There may have been more sales over the past couple days as well. I normally don't pay too much attention to pre-order prices. I kind of want to see where things land a week or two after release. I think that's ideal in my opinion. Now, obviously there are exceptions to that sometimes. For example, OP-13, that was really important to look at the top 10 value beforehand just because we needed to get pre-orders in or you needed to find product. Whereas with something like OP-14, I don't think you should be FOMOing into this, honestly, especially considering right after OP-14, we're going to have EBO3 coming. And I know on TCG Player, it's about $100 price difference in terms of pre-orders. I think this will be much closer by the time release comes around. That's just my guess. You'll probably be able to find some EBO3. If not, I think there may actually be an arbitrage play from Europe. That's actually kind of what I'm banking on right now. If it's way too expensive in Canada and the US probably just brings them in off of card market. That's kind of my plan at this point. But if these sets are fairly close in price, I think I would rather just buy EBO3. And that's kind of where the decision making comes into play when it is close between sets. So what I mean by that is I don't think OP-14 is going to be better than OP-11. I don't think it's going to be better than OP-09, OP-13. Will it be close with PRBO2? I actually do think so. It probably could be better than PRBO2 as well. The one thing that I question about OP-14 being a mainline set, being the set coming after OP-13, is how much of the set is Bandai actually going to print? We saw after the success of OP-05, Bandai printed a ton of Wings of the Captain, OP-07, OP-08. Two Legends, I think they probably printed the most of. That would be my guess, but I don't know what they're going to do with the set that comes right after the most hype set that we've ever had in One Piece. My guess would be they're probably going to print a decent amount of this. And if you look at OP-06 on the market, it's one of those boxes where you can still find it relatively cheap on eBay, decent amount of boxes compared to the other sets that came before it. So just keep that in mind when it comes to investing in OP-14. I feel like you're going to be able to find this box, at least for the most part, this year. The other thing too is that as someone who invests in multiple TCGs, there are so many good plays out there right now. So for example, we just had OP-13, but I think coming up EBO3, that's going to be something I want to get at least a little bit of exposure to. if not make it a decent percentage of my One Piece portfolio. When you look over at Pokemon, Sword and Shield era booster boxes have started running again. Early SV era stuff, like your SV base, Paldea Evolved obviously being the best of the first four sets, Obsidian's even fine, Paldean Fates, 151, all of these going out of rotation this year. We're going to see pretty crazy growth on those, I would imagine. Magic, you have Lorewind coming. Everyone's really hyped about that set. So even Riftbound as well. You had the reprint of Origins, which I know everyone asked me about Riftbound. I picked up one box of Origins on this reprint, so have a little bit of skin in the game now, but there's just so many plays you could make. You really have to be selective. So I don't know if OP-14 is going to be that great of a play, especially if you're buying at like $250, $275. Now, I've been very negative most of this video. I'm going to give you guys a bullish take on OP-14 now. And I think the most obvious thing about OP-14, when we look at this set as a whole, is that it has amazing S tier SP cards. The Boa Hancock, I mean, that's probably about as good as you can get when it comes to an SP character card. And then also the Zoro is probably my favorite. Like, this is up there with the Buggy from OP-06. I do believe that I brought up OP-06 here. Like, I thought Wings of the Captain was really far ahead of its time when it came to the SP cards inside. The Missile Sunday, the Rebecca I thought was amazing, the Buggy. Same thing with Royal Blood. I love the SPs in this set. The Whitebeard SP, one of my favorites in the game. The Sanji's beautiful. Usohachi is a great artwork, even though Usopp's just not a crazy popular character. The Charlotte Pudding, even the Charlotte Flampe. I mean, these were top tier artworks in my opinion, but OP-14 is taking this to another level in my opinion, especially the Zoro, which I know it's from EBO4. It's in our OP-14. I'm counting it as OP-14, guys. This is an S tier SP. I wouldn't be surprised if this is $500 plus dollars. When you look at the Zoro Juro from, I believe, OP-09, I think that's going for like $450, $500 currently. I would personally rather have this one. So just going off my bias, that's why I think it's kind of going to be 500 plus, especially out the gate. The manga event rares, I mean, you'll frighten me. This is going to be expensive. You can already see pre-orders. Generally, when the price is going up and we have a few points of sales data, this is a good sign in my opinion. Is it going to be $500? Probably not, but if it's $300, that's a pretty solid support card in my opinion to the depth of a set. Perona, not going to be as expensive, but still fairly popular character. Amazing artwork as well. And then outside of that, I mean, the Boa, the alt art leader, fairly expensive right now. You're going to have Sugar in there. The Kid SP is really cool. The Edward Weevil, I believe, as well, is going to be in this set. I don't see it anywhere, so might not be any sales data yet on TCG Player. You're also going to have Ground Death. You're going to have the Corazon Treasure Rare, Anami alt art. Like, there's some pretty solid alternate art cards in this set, which you can't say that about every single set that Bandai releases. So if this set succeeds, if this is, something that surprises me and a lot of other people and becomes an A tier investment in One Piece, it's going to be off the back of these SPs and how well they do. Now, if all of these drop down to like $150, $200, it's probably not going to be that great of an investment, especially if Bandai does what I expect and prints a decent amount of this set going forward. So that's really all I wanted to say on OP-14. That's me kind of fleshing out my thoughts on the set. I personally don't have any. Again, I'm waiting for EBO3 if I bring these up. I'm hoping that I can get a decent entry point on EBO3 still. If you got pre-orders in though on either of these sets at like $150, $180, whatever, like everything I said in this video is kind of irrelevant, right? Because you got in super early, you're locked in, it doesn't really matter. The arbitrage is already going to be there for you to sell your boxes right away and make like 80 to 100%. So don't worry if you got in super early, but if you're thinking about buying now, I think you do have a lot tougher of a decision, especially if you're paying $275 USD. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below what you think. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.